All right, here we go. Mic check. Mic check. All right, cool, cool. Live, live, live. Let me check a few things real quick before we get started. All right, that looks good. Buddy, 1 second. Yeah. Oh, I forgot I had the suppression on. There we go. All right, cool. We should be good now. Good day, everybody. Good day. Looking at these charts. Let's do a quick breakdown to see what price is cooking up here and go from there. Um, 10 minutes until 10 a.m., which I decided as of pretty much today, just looking at my stats and my data coming into the year, I think I like that 10 a.m. to about 1 p.m. window. So instead of streaming at 9:30 exactly, I'll start the stream around 9:40 and then add that 10 minutes or so to the back end of the stream. So I'll be done closer to 1 instead of 12:30 now. All right. All right, cool. So yeah, we are good to go. Let me see one thing real quick. Uh, All right, yeah. So looking at this 30-minute chart, right, you can see we have, let's turn some indicators on here. So let's just go look. Starting from the top down, as always, right? Hmm. All right, here bro, these computers are so weird. 1 second, bro. Oh, sound. All right. Sound. Input, output, headphones. Don't allow. All right. There we go. So we should be good now. Yeah, that looks fine to me. Don't know what. Check my microphone one more time. All right. There we go. So Perfect. Cool. So I am looking at a few things here. A few things here. I just don't like. Hold on. All right. A few things sound better. Let's see. All right. That's better. Perfect. 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 All right. So, a few things that come to mind. Turn down this gain real quick and get this little kid away. All right. I think that works. Cool. Cool. So looking at this chart, right, we can see that the markets are essentially ranging. And why don't I have another chart up? There we go. Nice. Yeah, bro. These computers, I haven't turned my computer on in all weekend, and apparently it just decides to forget everything I have as my template. But it looks good now, and we are right on time. So looking at this, let's go ahead, chart some levels, get ready for what potentially could be a great week. First thing I see is we have this previous weekly range. We're stuck inside of it. So you just want to have that previous weekly range in mind. I like that we're inside of this candle, so we can either trade towards the high or the low. Be looking out for that. Nothing else to note there. Same thing on the daily. Note this previous daily high. 4 hour. All right, there we go. So we're actually breaking 4 hour pressure. We open lower, right? Sunday opens lower with this 4 hour wick. And then we have, all right, there we go. So Sunday opens lower with this 4 hour wick. And with that wick, we see a strong move lower. We push back into that weekly open price on both charts, and we see a decent amount of rejection here. So that right there could lead to lower, right? Maybe even sweep out this 4 hour low. And what do you know? Price is sweeping out that 4 hour low over here. We got SMT. What about YM? Oh, look at YM. Yeah, YM is extremely weak. We open lower, push into it, and now we're sweeping out all of these lows here. This could look something like a 10 a.m. reversal. All right, we're getting SMT off the lows. We push through the highs. Let's see what happens on the highs here. 4 hour. At the highs, we have SMT off the highs as well. So we could actually see a couple different scenarios where the 4 hour chart gives you SMT off the highs and goes lower, or SMT off the lows to go higher. And the way I'm going to confirm that is just by looking at the 30-minute cycles here and see which way price is building. It looks like we're building for lower. This looks nice. I love this bearish candle here. We have 1 minute left. If we can get a nice bearish closure, I'll start trying to frame up a short here and maybe target this previous daily low as my draw, or maybe even midnight price, right? Nice accumulation here, relative equal lows. Price could maybe want to sweep those lows after failing to go higher here. SMT off of these overnight highs here. Asia session, let's go ahead and mark out those. Session liquidity, make that apparent here. We got London's high, we got Asia high, never swept. We got a nice gap there as well. Pretty clean. I like that we have a decent range here. London high already taken. London low is available. Asia low is available. Yeah, we're likely going to take these lows. All right, when you start noticing what lows are left. This is time-based liquidity, aka previous session liquidity. Asia low, London low, right by each other, untapped. Previous day low up underneath it. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if price tries to push lower here. So let's see if I can catch a play off of that. Hopefully everyone had a good weekend, man. And let's see what we can do here. Copy text. Everything looks good to me, ready to go. I'm gonna zoom down here and try to figure out what price is shaping up. I do want to highlight these session levels over here as well. All right, taking out that low. So that's the catch, right? YM is taking out this previous session low, so maybe that's enough to send price higher. We're about to find out. We are about to find out. I just like the fact that we're closing bearish after sweeping this high. And this is that first 30-minute range. Price could maybe go lower. All right, let's zoom in here and find out what the 5-minute chart has to say about this bearish candle. All right, 5-minute chart. Beautiful, right? So you see this attempt to go higher. I like that. New 30-minute candle opening right now. So let's see if the algo can send price literally the same setup from Friday. See if price can travel back into this red zone and then deliver towards these overnight session lows, and maybe even previous day low. Save these across the board. Everything pretty much in sync right now, which is making the shorts look pretty clean so far. All you need is a valid retest and a continuation move, and I'll try it out. Okay, so this one is a little bit more. Also, I want to know which one is stronger, and obviously ES is stronger today. We push up, make new highs over here, so I'm going to put that note. If I'm buying, I need to be buying ES for the most part. And if I'm selling, I need to be selling the NAS. That'll come in handy when the time is right. So put that up there, lock that in. And how do I know ES is stronger? You wait for the market open. You'll see which chart gives you the biggest move to the upside or downside. You see NASDAQ takes the lows. ES doesn't. You see ES takes the high here. NASDAQ does not. Confirming ES is stronger. All right, and then YM over here is strong and weak. NASDAQ couldn't take this high. ES couldn't take this high, but YM pushes way up here and way down here. So YM is a bit manipulated. So be careful on YM. All right, don't need these anymore. Actually, delete these off the template. Don't need those. Save that. All right, cool. So as I mentioned, I want to see, can price offer a, oh, what is this? 930 closes way down here. So this is looking like it might be bullish. First thing that comes to mind is, why is this 15-minute candle so bearish? All right, once you tap into something bullish, you notice we have SMT down here. First 15 minutes. Yeah, this is a bit strange, but we'll see what happens here. Let me go grab my blue light glasses before I stare at this computer too long without them. Boom. Yeah, first 15 minutes. There's 10 minutes. What about that first 10 minutes? The first 10 minutes looks better here, bro. Yeah, that first 10-minute looks better. I don't like how far away this 15-minute level is. Because if I'm looking to short, I want a level that's inside of my red zone. 10-minute chart gives me that. So I'll rock with that. 930 exactly, cool, save that. YM, what's your 30-minute structure looking like? Identical, fabulous. This is your strike zone for shorts if you're bearish. You guys know me, I'm as bearish as it gets. And needless to say, the market continues to short, but that's no surprise, right? When you know what to look for. it's obvious that the market is going lower. And here we go, right? So when you see price give you a valid area and then proceed through your higher time frame draws, that's not a good sign for the shorts, because once these levels are hit, you're probably going to see a sharp reversal off of these lows. Yeah, we're not even bothering to pull back here, so we're probably going to get a sharp reversal shortly. 10 to 10, 30. So yeah, my trade will probably fall somewhere after 10:30. Let price go ahead and continue lower and take out whatever it wants to take out here. We have this bearish fair value gap that seems to be delivering price, but as you know, if price does not tap into that order block, it's telling you, for one, that these shorts are likely to be absorbed once price gets back up into here, right? So rule number one, wait for the retest. Rule number two, I guess, is if price doesn't give you that retest and it takes out your potential draws on liquidity, expect price to completely reverse. If it doesn't reverse, it'll give you a new bearish area of interest. So for example, let's say we push through these levels, but we don't reject it all. We just close right through these levels. We should see a new bearish order block for this break of structure to work off of. And then you look for a retest of that to continue. But remember what we talked about, power of three. So if we're looking at this weekly chart and we see that, let's go 4 hour. I think 4 hours is pretty much cleaner. Yeah. So we see, let's zoom in on one of these here, the weaker one, NASDAQ. You see the market open lower first. That's a sign that we're probably going to start flipping back higher, right? I wish I could pull up a previous weekly candle and see if, yeah. All right, let's look at last week. Weekly candle opens here, right? Sunday, what happens? We open lower. And then by the end of the week, what happens? Price is bullish, right back above this weekly open. We're holding that weekly open. And now you see price pushing back into this territory, right back to this previous weekly low. So you can see that, okay, power of three shows up everywhere. Weekly candle opens opposite. And then by the end of the week, it's going the other way, right? When you think power of three, don't think so technical. Just think the markets like to go opposite before they go the real direction. That's all power of three means. And then you can frame up your trade around that idea. It doesn't have to be accumulate, manipulate, distribute. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be those exact phases. It can literally just be manipulation, delivery. Like here, you don't see much accumulation. It's just manipulate, delivery, but it's still power of three, right? So that's what I'm noticing here. And because of that, I see we open lower, we drive right back into these bullish 4 hour wicks here. We're showing life, all right? And now we're getting SMT off of these 4 hour lows, right? You see, well, maybe not SMT off the 4 hour, but YM is giving us SMT in comparison to those other 4 hour charts. So with YM extending this deep here and the weekly chart opening lower, this is a good profile for higher, right? You start the week bearish. Maybe we catch a sell today or tomorrow, but maybe by the end of this week, we're bullish, or maybe even by the end of today, we're bullish. We'll see. But we got the right game plan. Sit back, relax, see if the market offers a good setup here. So these, of course, these bearish gaps get my attention, but what do you notice, right? We tap into this gap once, we break structure, and then we fail to continue lower. So that's one red flag for this gap. Then we tap into the gap again, and then we fail to go lower again. And now here we are a third time tapping into this same bearish gap and failing to go lower. So that's telling me that these sellers in here are probably going to get absorbed. And this right here could be the draw, right? The opening price of this bearish candle or the high, right? Just like price, like here, for example, you would say, what's a good example here? Looking for a candle where we see here. You see how this candle, you fill in the gap, it doesn't break. You fill in this level, it doesn't break. But then once we start tapping into this opening price, look at the reaction compared to the rest of the candle, right? The fair value gap where everybody likes to put their attention doesn't give you that sell-off. However, price slowly trades in the first tap into that opening price of this bearish candle. Now you get that power of three where you get that accumulate inside of it, get that manipulation above, you get that break of structure. This is where you get your delivery, right? So this is the same type of profile where I don't think we're extremely bullish just yet, but I don't think we're bearish either because we've seen this gap right here fail to send price lower a few times. So now my eyes go to this opening price or potentially the wick. Price could sweep out the wick, go lower, or price could tap into here and go lower. So it's just a matter of waiting and seeing what happens. But I think that's going to be our draw. I think 25,200, 25,210 or so is where price could be drawing towards. Let's look at ES here. So ES is already offered a tap into there. So if we fail to break this low here after tapping into this 30 minute, 4-hour opening price, then I'm thinking that this is going to be our draw right here. We'll probably end up pushing up towards this level right here. All right. So we'll see. We actually do. Actually, yeah, we did tap into the high of this right here. So that gets my attention. We did tap into this current overnight 4-hour high. You got a nice rejection off of it. Really clean. Same thing over here. So that could be the catalyst for lower. We're just looking for price to give us a pullback, that algorithmic pullback, right? So until then, I'll just set some alerts here. We could see it, price will randomly just end up here, Until then, there's not much I can do. So I'm going to set some alerts right here and just sit back. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and jump in the chat. See who else is trading today. See who else is trading today. I don't see Tanya. Tanya's been struggling lately though, so that makes sense. Lumi's a bit hard to understand at times, so that's a little bit of a downer. But yeah, hopefully you guys one thing that helped me as a trader, bro, was watching a lot of other live streamers on YouTube. Hopefully you guys are doing that because you'll start to get a better idea of what the trading world is really like. Because if you're just scrolling on TikTok or Instagram, you're not going to really see what trading is all about. You're just going to see a bunch of people just posting results. You know what I mean? So that's why if you ever go to my Instagram or my YouTube, you're going to see the exact opposite of what those guys are doing. Before I post a payout, I will post an execution live video showing you how it's done before I throw a payout in your face and tell you to come join my group. Right? That's all just marketing. You're not really teaching anybody anything. But here, I know for sure you're going to be able to say, oh, appreciate that. I actually learned something here that could make me profitable. But I like this gap here. Right? This bearish gap. But you guys know me, I don't really take my entries based off fair value gaps because they're way too unpredictable. So this area right here, I'll be looking for price to honestly flip this. We drive into here, we take this low, right? If price offers a flip through these internal highs, then you could expect something like that. I think my 4-hour level was here. We have this 4-hour high up here as well. I'll mark that off as a 4-hour level. We've already tapped that level on ES, so let me see what you got. Let me see. So yeah, I like what price is doing here. We have these lows still available. YM takes them out, but YM shows no sign of rejection. So that's making me feel like we're probably gonna keep that bearish vibe. And then what do we do here? We open up, we break structure, right? You get this closure through these lows. We generate these internal highs right here. Okay, so with these highs being generated, you can get that push up to sweep these highs. And if we maintain this area right here, you should expect a reversal from there. If price can break through here, then as I mentioned, we have some targets up above. Even these highs right here are previous daily highs, previous weekly highs. All right, so you could see some rejection from there. If price wanted to break and get up to this 25,130 area, All right, cool. So what I'm noticing here, we actually have a couple areas of interest that could be used because YM is so weak. You might not get that pullback. So I'm gonna highlight a couple areas here. First, we have this candle here that was closed through from 9:30 open. Then you have this 9:50 5-minute candle that was broken. So we have two breaks of structure. You have one, and you have two, and then now over here we have similar type of idea where. So yeah, I'm starting to think we're not gonna be bullish. I'm sorry, bearish. All right. What catches my eye is notice what happens right at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. opens lower, right? That's the first thing that gets my attention. We open lower, sweep out these lows. Now that could be some sort of reversal protocol, right? We have 10 a.m. open right inside of this bearish candle and then take out this low. This low is my TP, my draw on liquidity. If I'm short up here, I'm targeting this low, right? So with that low being swept and you get a decent reaction off of it, I would actually prefer to see price go bullish here. I can't short this knowing that right at 10 a.m. we drove into here and we took out lows, all right? So you just let price do whatever it wants to do here because there's going to be a lot of people jumping into shorts, bro. You got to think about what this is doing to your psychological approach. You see these nice bearish moves, the first thing you're going to try to do is get in on a short. And that's exactly what they want you to do. All right. These are way too overextended. Look at YM. This is not, this is not something I would trade personally. I would just let it go. If it wants to keep going, let it keep going because 9 times out of 10, it's not going to keep going. It's going to flip aggressively and anybody in shorts are going to be like, markets are trash today. So I'm going to sit back here. This right here opened my eyes a lot for potential bullish manipulation. We see instead of price filling in here, we get a new break of structure. And then right at 10 o'clock, we open inside of here and take out the lows. So that's not ideal at all. So hopefully it doesn't just go lower all day. But if it does, no trades for me. Right? You see how I come to that conclusion? Power of 3 on every time frame is telling me we're probably going to be bullish. The new week candle opens lower, telling me we're probably going to go higher. The 4-hour candle opens lower, telling me we're probably going to go higher. And then on top of all of that, we hit 10 a.m. and immediately open lower. I'm like, okay. Once price hits whatever it wants to hit here, we should expect a decent reversal. Ideally, right? Some days are just one-sided, you know? But ideally, we get the power of 3 today. This midnight price gets my attention. We put this low right above midnight price. Maybe we get one more drive, one more sweep of these lows, tap into this 24,833 level, and then you see some type of bounce. But as of right now, we are chilling. Yeah, YM is taking out everything here. Notice there's no bullish pressure at all in this candle, pure bearishness. And that's always a red flag. All right, that's my spiel for now. I'm gonna sit back. I have some alerts set up here, see what happens if price gets up in there. Got these two 5-minute zones right here. See what happens. All right. Yep, midnight price is about to get hit. I think that's going to be our catalyst for higher. Notice how midnight price marked the bottom of this move, right? We opened up 6 p.m., super aggressive, no signs of bullishness until what? Until midnight. Once midnight was open, look right here, literally 12 a.m., price puts in this low and rallies. So honestly, we'll probably sweep out this session low here. Either tap into midnight and bounce or push a little bit underneath midnight just to sweep out this this low right here. And then we'll probably see a sharp turn, like a very aggressive turn. We look at the rest of the market here. Nvidia is slightly green. Google, not bad. Everything, even if it's red, Meta 0.9%, Microsoft -2%. So the market's not that weak. I would say we're still accumulating for the most part. All right, so yeah, give price a few minutes to unfold here, and then I'll check back in a few. Alerts set at this 24,970 level. See if price can get back up in there. Move these over. These are from. All right, notice we're starting to close through these down close candles now, right? Price was bearish, 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 and now we're starting to see bullish candles push above these bearish candles. Could mark out a bottom here. So let's see. All right, cool. So at this point, ES is definitely aiming for this Asia low here. But you notice the SMT, right? So I'm assuming ES takes this low. There it is. And then from there, we could see NASDAQ hit that midnight price. There it is. Nas is hitting midnight. Now this is where we see the market's true colors here. Are we going to continue closing through these bullish candles? Let's find out. I want to see a strong reaction from this level. A nice strong bullish close would open the door for a move just like what we saw in the overnight session, a sweep and then a clean flip. No time wasted after the flip, right? I mean, after the sweep. Also notice YM bottoming out. Where is it bottoming out? In bullish territory where there was no sweeps whatsoever. So now you see price give a sweep in this area. Maybe even this low causes it, or this low. All right, so you get a sweep off that low. Just looking for a strong reaction here to confirm that the power of 3 is kicking in here. And what do you notice about this 30-minute candle? This 30-minute candle opens lower, sweeps liquidity. Now if we can start flipping this bearish candle, that's the first part of a flip. Oh, my bad. I just saw the chat. Hold on. Let me type in the chat. Say you like how patient. Oh, yeah, bro. It's just because I'm not looking at the 1 minute until I see everything I want to see on the higher time frames. Because that 1 minute, you know, that 1 minute will lie right to your face. It'll give you an A+ sell signal, and then it'll sweep you out 4 times. And then you gotta, you know, train yourself to just be okay with missing out on the trades that don't give you a clean reversal. That's all trading has taught me over the past few years. Not every setup is gonna be, you know, step for step exactly what you want to see. But when you chase those setups that aren't exactly what you want, you put a lot of stress on your career, bro. Put a lot of stress on your trading account as well. So in order to avoid that, I've completely accepted the idea that the best setups are going to be irresistible and they're going to give you a good entry price. And all you need is like literally one or two good setups a week. You'll make more than, you know, 80, 90% of traders. So you've been doing that? Yeah, bro. We've all been there. We've all been there. And the moment you just like, it's just like real life, bro. Trading is spiritual, if you ask me, bro. Just like in the real world, you could be doing something that you know is not good for you, and you're like, man, I need to stop doing that. Man, I need to stop doing that. But there's going to be people who actually put up the fight to change their life, change their ways. And then there's going to be people who just never really change their ways and they just deal with their bad habits. Trading is the same way, bro. You're going to see exactly what you're doing wrong. And it's up to you to accept it and try to improve, or just keep making the same mistakes over and over. I really just like how price is taking its time around these levels. And then you see, like I mentioned, YM is slowly bottoming here. I want to see more speed to confirm that there's a lot of buying pressure going on down here. But as I mentioned, if price decides it doesn't want to go higher, then I'll wait for a clean break of structure, a clean pullback, and then look for a clean continuation. So notice we did not flip this candle here. So there's nothing bullish about this at all right now. Whatsoever. This is still bearish. For the sake of like hindsight trading, like let's say you get in off of this red zone here, right? Which we marked it out. The reason I didn't care for it was because we drove this candle right here, this 1005 candle. We tap into this red zone and then we make a new low. So that right there throws me off, because I know that once price takes a low, it could completely shift the opposite way. But now we see price take this low, attempt to go higher, and fail, leaving behind more bearish areas to work with. So now this becomes a bearish area of interest. But the same thing keeps happening, right? You see price open up, tap into this red zone, and then make a new low. So now this red zone right here doesn't really interest me, because we've mitigated it and we've taken out liquidity from it. So it's not A+ anymore. And it'll make sense the longer we sit here. You're gonna be like, wow, either price is really gonna just continue to slowly grind lower, and I don't really want to trade that, or you're going to see price take one of these lows and erupt back bullish, and that'll be where you start seeing a bottom to go back for all of these highs that haven't been swept, all this liquidity that just seems to be so safe and unprotected, right? So that's where you have to zoom out a bit and then look at your clock and you say, wow, the market's only been open for about an hour now, and we're still trading around this midnight price. We're chilling. Nothing's really going on. Heat map. What's Nvidia look like? Let's take a look at the Nvidia chart. Nvidia. All right, nice. So what do you notice? We have this opening gap. So price could literally drive into this gap. This is more options talk, right? This isn't a futures chart, but same thing. When price leaves gaps on the options chart, price likes to fill those gaps before going to continuation. And what do you notice inside of here, right? So if we go look at the 30-minute cycles, you'll see 10 a.m. opens. series of bearish candles. Nothing really bullish about this candle whatsoever. So at 10:30, when this candle closes, I'm looking at these candles and I'm saying, what's actually going on here? Looks like we just sold off and now we're bottoming. We haven't really shown much of a closure underneath this low of this 30-minute candle. We got a sweep here. So now you're just watching the new 30-minute cycle to see, all right, can we start closing through these bearish candles here? Using those bearish candles as stair steps to go higher. You got relative equal highs right here. And you have a power of 3 profile where price literally has only taken out lows. We've taken out lows and we're leaving highs. And it's early in the session, 10 a.m. up here. Price could easily trade back to this 10 a.m. price with the proper setup. Or it could easily just break through all of this and get back down into these lows that haven't been swept either. So price will show you which way it wants to go. It's just a matter of, will it give you a clean break and retest, or will it simply just break out and go? You know what I mean? So here we go, more selling pressure. This isn't my trading style. If this, let's say, like looking into the future, right? Let's say today ends up just bearish. And then we notice we open up bearish. Tomorrow, we're probably going to get the biggest buy, something similar to this. Probably going to get a move that makes no sense of how bullish it is, because we're overextending at this point. All right, we still have this Asia low. We still have these lows here that could trigger a reversal. All right, so it's it's literally just a waiting game. I hope this gives a clean reversal so you guys can see how the markets operate. The markets just want to, get inside your head, bro. And sometimes they let you win just so they can set you up for failure. Focus in on NAS. See if any of these levels here can just be broken, kid. That's all I'm looking for. Let's look at the 1 minute. So I'm sure there's some macro traders out there. Let's see what the macro had to offer. At 950 macro, 940, 950. You get this inversion. You can see this just isn't worth trading. Like, what are you, unless you were convinced price wanted lower, like, what are you really trading here? You got this inversion. Maybe you short that inversion, but if you did short this inversion, your stops above here, maybe you target Asia low. That's not a bad trade, right? If you're a 1 minute warrior. If the 1 minute is enough to convince you to put your money on the line, then this isn't bad. But I've completely outgrown those 1 minute signals. Personally, I think the 1 minute chart is strictly for getting a precise entry and exit. But these are not for analysis. I will not use a 1 minute chart for entry analysis. Or bias. I shouldn't say entry analysis. I should say bias. A bias is going to be built way before I even look at the 1 minute. And then when I go to the 1 minute, I'm locked in on a specific bias. Now I can just look for a precise entry, precise stop loss. Here we go. This Asia low looks perfect. But we do have some weird SMT going on right now, right? Look at how deep ES is pushing. ES way underneath this Asia low. NASDAQ hasn't tapped it yet. And if you notice, look at this. This low right here, massive imbalance. I would like to see NASDAQ, maybe sweep this low, but it's taking its time, bro. Today's super slow. And like the YM is doing absolutely nothing. There we go. More selling pressure here. And it just makes you wonder, all right, so how much longer can this go on? If we get to, like 11:30 and price is still going lower, then yeah, I think we're just killing time here. Classic accumulation. There we go. All right, NASDAQ takes this low. Finally, my goodness. So now you have something to work with here. I think at 11 o'clock we're gonna start seeing bullish pressure. There's nothing else to go off here. So yeah, like this is the type of session that I'm sure all the like 1 minute traders are like super happy, right? And rightfully so. This is a nice sell off here, but once you understand how, for example, the breaker structure, right? So this is something that should help if you guys are like struggling to know like when a setup is okay and when it's not okay. One rule of thumb is once you have that breaker structure, you look for an area inside of that breaker structure to get involved, right? So let's say you wanted to get in short off this fair value gap, right? But let's say you had your sell order up here somewhere and you never get filled, right? Your target is supposed to be the swing low of that breaker structure. So once price taps into here and takes this low, that sell trade should not, you should be out of your trade or maybe at break even if you're in that short, because you know that this is a prime area for a reversal. You see price tap into here and fail to reverse, right? We put in this high and then finally close through this low. That's your indication that, okay, cool, price clearly wants lower. Let's see if we can find an example of when price takes a low. Yeah, there's a ton of examples. Price will take out a low, like here. You get a breaker structure. I'm sorry, here. You get this breaker structure, beautiful breaker structure, right? So you're looking inside of this leg and you're like, where do I want to short? I want to short at the top of this fair value gap, safe, so I can put my stop here, blah, 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 whatever. Once you get into this trade, your target is this breaker structure low. Why? Because once this low is taken, first of all, you don't want to be greedy and try to target all of that. Second of all, once this low is taken, this is the type of reaction you can get more times than not. And this is the type of reaction I want to see because this gives you the best reversals. As you can see, look at how many points you catch off of this. It doesn't even stop. You see what I mean? So that's why I've decided I'd much rather just, if I can't catch this short at an optimal entry before this low is taken, once this low gets taken out, I'm done with the short. I don't care about the short. If it wants to keep going, go for it. Whatever. I'll wait for a new bearish breaker structure. Wait for something like this. If we were continuing lower, right? You wait for something like this, break structure, and then pull back inside of here. I'll be looking for a short inside of this breaker structure leg, anticipating price to take this low. Once this low is taken, my trade is over to avoid being caught in this type of move. So that's why when you carry over to today and you see that price is giving you clean bearish areas, right? Like this move right here from the opening, I was cool with shorting it until we took this low. Once we take this low, and it took it immediately, right? I don't start trading until 10. We tap into this area, immediately take the low. All right, game over, shorts. Catch you next time. All right, and then now you see this overextension algorithm right now, but you don't see any clear bullish attempts. So you just let this bleed, just let it bleed. Go on without me. And YM is probably going to give us the first sign of bullishness. We could even take a look over at crypto, essentially. Crypto gives you a good idea of when a bottom could be shaping up as well. 30-minute cycles. We got this 10 a.m. bearish candle, and now we're in this 11 a.m. candle. So if you're looking at 10 a.m., let's see if you get an idea. Look at this. Pure accumulation on Bitcoin. Nothing fancy at all. Not even worth trading. All right, we got this bearish candle. Price never breaks that wick, never closes through it. We have this move right here. This is a bearish move, essentially, where price, we do close through this bullish candle low right before the 30-minute cycle ends. What do you notice? The next 30-minute cycle pushes almost directly to the bottom of that bullish candle here, and it sells off, taking the low. With that low being taken, I would wait for a new breaker structure like this. You see how price is giving you more breaks of structure, closing through these 5-minute up close attempts. You see we close strongly through it and we leave it. We haven't tapped into it. So any drive back into here would be short protocol if it holds up. And then you just target the low here. if it holds up, right? You don't know if the retest can hold up. But this looks like good continuation protocol. Let's look at gold while we sit around. Gold is pretty solid most of the time. Looking at the pre-market, pure accumulation, right? You could tell something big is about to occur, whether it's going to be hour session or overnight session. You can tell price is starting to accumulate and manipulate very strongly here. Price hasn't done anything over here on gold. All right, so good patience once again. Great patience overall here. I'm looking for an opportunity for lower, right? If price wants to keep going lower, it'll give you something like this, right? But you just need it to actually retest. Taking out a ton of liquidity here, kid. Tons of it. Amazing how it just keeps going lower. Really nice. This selling pressure, man, if you had any idea that price was going to run lower today, you're getting a bag here. These were just unfortunate because if we would have gotten a clean, like this breaker structure right here, I was hoping we tap into the upper level. But then I spotted this one right here. And as you can see, this was pretty much accumulation, not really a clean setup. And now here we go straight to that previous daily low somehow. Like it's not even stopping, kid. Previous daily low about to get hit on ES. Crazy. It's officially 11 o'clock and we've seen no signs of life in the market. The market is dying. It's funny because it really hasn't gone anywhere. Looks like that SMT off of those highs that we saw this morning, right? You had the bearish SMT from this level here, right? Then you had that bullish SMT where, what was it? Was there a bullish SMT? I feel like there was, right? Doesn't look like it. Looks like a clean bearish dump. I thought we saw it. I think it was at 10 a.m. Yeah, it was one at 10 a.m. That's what it was. Yeah. So if you hide everything here, you see this 9:30 candle closes with a wick down in here, and then this 9:30 candle closes with no wick at all. So that was, it was a slight bullish SMT, but a massive bearish SMT. And if you're looking and you're like, all right, I really, really, really want to short this, get a breaker structure and a fair value gap, that's about all you get. You know, if you like fair value gaps, that wasn't terrible, I guess. You get a bearish breaker structure, bearish fair value gap, 1 minute drive into that fair value gap, and then inversion. I see people who trade like that. So that would have been, I'm sure a lot of people caught this short. Congrats on the shorts if you caught that short. Me personally, I'll never catch that move. Previous daily low hit. Previous weekly low on YM hit. 4-hour chart. Where is price now? This low gets my attention here. Just because it was never swept. All right. But one thing about today, this is good. This is good training for FOMO, because you're going to feel some type of way at first missing these types of trades. You're going to be like, man, what did I miss? I need to go in here and I need to fix my strategy so that I can catch this type of move next time. But look at it. Just look at the 1 minute chart here. Show me any type of retrace or rebalance. You can't. There's nothing. So with these types of moves, you don't want to be involved in these, because it plays on your psychology. It makes you think that the market never pulls back or never retests. And that is not true. All this shows me is that we're probably going to have a massive bullish move sometime this week, if not today. You're going to see a massive correction. Look, you can clearly see the continuations. You can see once we close through this bullish candle, what happens? Price taps right into this bullish candle and fails to go any higher, goes lower. And the same thing here. The moment price starts closing through this bullish candle, what do you notice? You see multiple drives. One candle here, another candle there, driving to this red zone, continues lower. Really decent, right? The only thing with these trades, you would have to just know that price isn't going to reverse off of these lows. If you knew that, you had a beautiful setup to short off of in here. Maybe one day I'll figure it out, but I don't think there's any way to truly tell if price is going to continue through a swing low or reverse off of that swing low. Previous daily low hit. This'll pretty much lull you to sleep if you let it. That's why I think I'm gonna go find something else to do while price sits here and wastes my time. I'm gonna put some alerts on this chart here and step to the side. Like, there's no life in these charts at all right now. We have 4 bullish candles from 9:35 till 11:05, 11:10. Yeah. Unreal. Overnight, what happened overnight? Sell off, rebalance, sell off. Not terrible. Previous day low hit. Nice. All right. So yeah, I'm just gonna set some alerts and I will check back once price makes sense again. I would recommend you guys do the same thing. You know, you don't want to be sitting on the charts boring yourself to death. But until we see a bullish order block or a bullish break of structure, I am chilling. Even if we get a bearish breaking structure, I'm okay to trade it, right? As long as, so like this move right here, let's see. You see that small bullish candle here on ES, but it's not showing on NAS. And then YM. See, YM is giving you a short profile. Let me watch YM here. We see price attempt to go higher in this new 30-minute cycle. And then we leave a beautiful, beautiful order block that was never mitigated. Oh, well, I take that back. That's a lie. 11 o'clock candle opens up right inside of this bearish area and takes out all the lows. So no, nothing to work with whatsoever. All right, so I'm gonna set some alerts, step aside. Looks like some of you guys caught some nice trades today in the chat room. There you go. So I'll be back, set some alerts for essentially 11:30. I'll type it up here. I'm gonna wait for 11:30 to check out or show some structure. And what do you know? Bullish pressure has arrived right off of this previous daily low. So this could be a massive move, and I'm looking to catch a piece of it. All right, so zooming in, this 11:30 cycle is about to close, and what do you notice? Price is easily ripping through the bearish candles that were so-called strong, right? You see all this selling pressure just absorbed in a matter of minutes. And this is what you want to see when the reversal is picking up here. So this gives you a pretty big range. This candle is going to close through every single down close candle in this cycle. So that's going to open the door for a simple retest, market structure shift, and go higher, something like that. YM should be right on board as well. Yep. Here goes YM. YM is the weaker of the two. So I'm really not looking to trade YM today if I'm buying. But if YM gives a buy signal, that just adds confluence to my NASDAQ or ES buy, which I'll be buying ES. All right, so now I'm going to sit here and I want to wait for a drive into this green box here. We have these bearish gaps, which should send price lower here. So I'm anticipating this, a drive into one of these bearish gaps or something in this area, maybe even midnight, right? And then push back down deep into here. And this is where I'll be looking for my entry. All right, something like that. So we'll wait for the retest of the green. And from there, the games will begin. Let the games begin. Excellent profile so far. It's 11:30 and the first hour and a half has been bearish with no real liquidity sweeps. So that opens the door for, like I mentioned, a clean move higher. Let's just hope it doesn't just go straight up in the air, and then that'll pretty much wrap it up for me if I see that. All right, yeah, so every single bearish candle that was closed through, highlighted, set some alerts down in here just to see if we can actually retest this level on YM. All right, here we go. Quick drive, quick flip back into here. We tap into this bearish gap. As I mentioned, it should send us lower. Something in here should send us lower. Price drives into that bearish gap. Seeing that pullback. I would like a deeper pullback just because it'll give me a better risk to reward with my trade idea, right? I want to be buying somewhere down here. So let's look at the 1 minute. Okay, we have this internal low that could be swept. This would be nice to see swept. We have decent liquidity sitting in there. I think if this low doesn't get swept, this is an order block, a down close candle that gives you a really nice move higher. So I like any retest or sweep of this area. All right, I just want to see an aggressive move lower here. We've seen, you know what I mean? We've seen so much selling pressure. I don't want the selling pressure to just magically go away now that the buyers are showing some type of life. I want to see the sellers try to take over here and then get absorbed. And that'll be A+ for a reversal, right? You want to see a sharp move down into here and then just fail to go lower and start going back higher. And that'll be all I need to see. Zoom in on, well, actually, I'm not going to zoom in. I want to see both in this scenario here. So boom, boom, boom. First 15 minutes of the candle. Perfect. There we go. Yeah. So a nice drive underneath here. Blue line. blue line, and blue line. Look at that previous 30-minute candle. Beautiful doji on YM. I would love to see price try to fill in this wick a good amount though, right? Maybe consequent encroachment, just fill in something down here, bro, so we get a good entry price, man. That's the stressful part for me. Sometimes the market really just wants to just like keep going and going and going, and I'm just like, bro. And then I think maybe this order block is sitting right at 50%. Literally identical. Order block right at 50%. We're accumulating right now. So this is where your power of 3 opens up, right? So you have a break of structure, you have a valid area of interest. You want to see this new 30-minute candle offer the power of 3. It looks like we're accumulating right now. Fine. Accumulate. Manipulate. And then start that delivery process. And I'm looking for at least midnight price, or at least, actually, I take that back. I want 10 a.m. for the most part. 10 a.m. opened lower. We didn't see anything sweep above this 10 a.m. price. So if the power of 3 is active on this 4-hour candle, right? You see how it's all fractal. It's the same concept on every single candle. If this 4-hour candle is going to be bullish, you could see 10 a.m. open lower just as we have, sweep out liquidity, and then start rejecting. And then the next 4-hour candle, or maybe even this 4-hour candle, is bullish. Just depends on the speed, right? If it takes a while, this could close bearish, but then that next 4-hour candle opens at 2 p.m. and then it just continues what this candle left behind. All right, now you're starting to see this drive. We do have fair value gaps sitting in here that could play a part, but I just really don't want to see that. I have to be open-minded here for different areas to buy, because this buying zone is massive. Price could literally tap into this right here and take off. It's officially in this zone. Anything from top to bottom is fair play for long. So I'm hoping we at least get underneath this blue line, fall back underneath here, retest, sweep something before trying to go higher. YM holding this line like a champion right now. 5-minute gap. This is tough, bro. I hope it doesn't try and take off. At least give us a solid drop. Because, like, for example, you see how we're putting in this high now? This high right here is going to be my draw. So I don't want to see that bothered. If we end up taking this high, it's going to kill my trade idea. And it's about to. It's like it knows. We take this high, it's going to kill the trade idea. We tap into this zone and literally go right for the high. Trash. These are the trades that like to bait you, right? Because price will literally take this high and end up way down here. And people trying to buy a breakout, all of them are stopped out. It makes sure to stop out all of them, right? So I don't want to see this high taken, bro. This is my target. If we can just ignore this high for now and start taking out lows, I would be grateful. This 5-minute gap. So lame, bro. Just sell off, kid. It's 11:38. Let's see. All right, guys. So looking at this clock, this is starting to get interesting, right? We have this bullish candle right here that I'm keeping my eye on. I don't want to see price close underneath here. Why? Because if we start closing underneath bullish candles after tapping into this, and then meanwhile, we haven't really driven deep into this zone yet, this could end up being short area event. Yeah, I think we're probably going to end up shorting off of this. I'm going to keep my eyes on this. It's tough because, as you can see, there's no like synchronized area. So I'm going to watch this right here, actually. The 5 minute, right? If I'm looking at the 5 minute, you'll see ES has this bullish candle, but NASDAQ doesn't. So I don't really want to give it too much credit if it's only shown on one chart. But if I go down just one level to the 4 minute, you'll see that bullish candle that I want to see price maintain here. If we can maintain this range, tap into this 1 minute order block here, show some strength, that makes sense for higher. No question. I wouldn't even hesitate. But if we start closing underneath here, all right, here we go. I think we're going to go. I think it's time to go here. Yeah, let's see. Got this level here for a market structure shift. Just take out these highs in here. Target level. And I would say this is going to be my like break even target because we're so close to it. All right. I don't want to set my final TP here, but my break even target is going to be here. If I can get in, this high gets taken, I'll go break even because price has a lot up above midnight, 10 a.m. Easy draws. All right, let's check YM should be in agreement here. All right, yeah, let's get that break of structure. And once we start flipping this blue line, YM 4 minute chart. Nice. So yeah, we're maintaining this bullish candle. I expect this candle right here to be the catalyst. So I'll make that my low. I want to see this become a low. And let's see if we can get this break of structure here. We got SMT off of this sweep. Nice. ES fails to take that low. So I may end up buying ES here. SMT. Market structure shift. Same thing over here. My target. It's going to be my break-even target. Got this 1 minute fair value gap. Notice the blue line, right? Notice price is failing to get comfortable underneath this blue line. We got SMT underneath the blue line. We got a fair value gap now right at the blue line. So these are important for me when I'm looking for a buy. I want to see these levels start to show some speed. And then we just opened a new 30-minute candle. So this could take 30 minutes, right? That's where the 30-minute cycles come into play. We see this first candle offer accumulation. We didn't do anything on this previous 30-minute candle. So now the previous 30-minute lows, which I have marked out here, I would love to see those get swept to start building that power of three, accumulate, right? And then new 30-minute candle, open lower because it wants to go higher, sweep, and then start to shift back bullish. I'll take that every time. And it looks like we may get that profile here. Let's see. Let's see. I would love to see these lows get hit so I can see how price responds. And I am prepared to wait another 30 minutes or so for this candle to do what it needs to do. This could take 20 to 30 minutes to manipulate, and then the final 10 minutes of the candle will give you your delivery or something like that. So you just have to read and react here. Bias is set. I am looking for buys. And now I'm just letting the algo do its thing here. YM. I would love these lows to get swept on YM. They look too clean. And we still haven't tapped into this zone yet on YM. Accumulate above it. Open a new 30-minute candle. Drive into it. Fire. Lows being swept.
The remote.
All right. Great patience so far. No trades as of yet for me. I like how this order block is sitting at a discount. I like how this order block has accumulation above it. And I like how this new 30-minute candle is opening towards this level. We did tap into it once here. So we have this bearish gap. This is important here. Highlight that bearish gap. Highlight the bearish gap. See if this bearish gap has any real pressure to it, or is it just for show? All right, we got that sweep. Good rejection so far. Looks like ES is going to be the one I'm trading. And I just want to buy above here with a stop underneath that SMT low, like 8 points. £8 would be about 12 micros. 13, why not? But no entry. Like I said, I'm watching this area. Notice the accumulation in here. Notice the SMT in here. Notice the order block in here that was left behind on this move up, right? So you can see that if price wanted to go from here to pull back and continue, this would be where it would happen. And it looks like we're gonna get that. I'm just waiting patiently. YM has to catch up here. YM will be the reason why price takes forever. Oh, what price would this be? I can get in with 8. Go for speed. You see this speed? It's not random. It was already planning on doing this hours ago. It's just building structure, taking its time, playing with people's psychology in the process. So I'm not really rushing. Like I mentioned, YM is still in this bearish gap. And as I mentioned earlier, anytime price pushes into an opposing gap, it's your job to let price react from this gap. You're gonna get selling pressure even if it's not bearish. Let me see if I can find an example where you'll get a gap, pretend to be bearish just to get taken out. Here's a good one right here. You see price tap into this bearish gap, starts to reject for no reason other than there's sellers in here, and then you have to give it time for those sellers to be absorbed. And what happens? Fake out, breakout, retest. And that's what we're looking for here. Same exact profile. Fake out lower, which we have some bearish gaps on the 1 minute being respected. Right? YM, zoom in. YM respecting this 1 minute bearish. That's what you want to see. And then you just want to wait for the sellers to be absorbed. And then not sure. There it is. Yeah. It's on the way here. Let me get ready. I don't want to get in too early because as long as price is respecting this gap, it can sweep these lows again. So just wait a little longer here. I'm okay with a 8-point stop. So my ideal strike price would be 855. Yeah, like 855. That'll be my ideal entry for 12 contracts. And then notice we're still within this candle that I mentioned from earlier. Let me actually mark out this low. Look at how price is respecting this low. We have SMT off that low. I want to see this low continue to hold and then continue to show this bullish pressure. $6,855. And then TP would be, as you can see, right? Look at how this bearish gap still holding up, right? You're just giving the sellers their window to be absorbed. It takes a few minutes at times. Sometimes you get a clean inversion, price just rips right through them. But other times, most times you get this because this makes people hold their short. This makes people add to their short. This makes people go short. And then if this fails, it runs and it rips through all those sellers, right? And I'm looking for about, let's go 30-minute chart. Show us some 30-minute highs. So look, we've already tapped into this bearish gap. We're seeing that bearish pressure. Technically, you should look for another candle high. So like this will be a good liquidity target. And that's probably where I'm gonna set my TP. That's a good liquidity target there. We've already tapped into here, yeah, so this looks decent. Just waiting it out, man. And keep checking on this chart because you want to see if price starts closing through these bullish candles. You don't want to see that. That's not bullish. Closing through bullish candles on the higher time frame is not what you want to see. That's enough to make me cancel this entire forecast right here. I'll walk away. When you're bullish, price can disrespect bullish order blocks, but it won't close through. You feel me? Like, look at these, right? Look how this bearish candle responded. There was no pressure above it, and that lets you know we're bearish. Bullish candle failed to maintain the lows. We closed through it, immediately ripped through them, right? So the moment, if these fail, knowing that we're still on like a bearish type of day, you see how price is really weak. If price starts to fail here, I have to go short based on the session, based on where we are. There's no reason for price to fail here unless it really, really wants lower. Right now, you should start seeing all bullish lows offer a lot of momentum higher, similar to what we started to see. But now you see this blue line becoming an issue, right? Look at the blue line. I need price to be above there, first of all. And you can see we just keep wicking this area right now. You just got to see what price is going to do. It could go bearish. It could go bullish. And this is the funny part about trading. Like, you'll notice it more times than not. The market will go to areas where you can argue for both. It'll be like a really good buy setup if it holds under here, or a really good sell short up if it maintains whatever, right? It's no coincidence that price is picking this specific area to hesitate. You know what I mean? Like, look at this. YM could be the culprit, but I don't see YM going lower. So let's see. If we start breaking these candles and closing underneath it, But if we just reach in here and keep sweeping and then start flipping this blue line, you already know what time it is. You already know what time it is. And I think we're going to be bullish, man. Yeah. We're just waiting on YM. YM is in accumulate mode. We swept this low once again from this bearish gap. So maybe this is where, if we can sweep here, this will be your bottom. Get one more sweep here. You're already next to it. Go ahead, sweep that out for us. And notice we're still really far underneath this blue line here. So that's why I was able to be patient with this buy. There's no rush for me to get in here. I'm using everything the market has to offer here. I'm using YM. I'm using the higher time frame. I'm using SMT. I'm using order blocks. I'm using fair value gaps. Right? I'm using 30-minute candles. I'm using everything the market is giving me to give me clues here. And now we go back to this 5-minute because I don't want to see price close under here. If we do, I'll probably start looking for shorts, guys. Yeah, I think we're going to go short. Let's see. 25 seconds left. How does this candle close? Yeah, I think it's probably going to go short. It all depends on. Let's see. 14 seconds. Do we get a crazy wick here? Price is wicking, but not enough. I don't think that's going to be enough. Yep. This is losing its steam here. Every single chart falling underneath, but NASDAQ did not close through it, guys. NASDAQ did not close through it. Yeah, I think we're still bullish. You see how it plays all these types of mind games? Like, why do you feel like you have to do all of this? Just pick a side. Come on. Yeah, you want to wick and jab both areas. It's a scam, bro. Trying to get you to make a bad decision so bad. Like, come on. It wants you to make a mistake right here, right now, before the move gets going, so you can just be completely wrong. And I like the sweep here. What I don't like is there's no more SMT. So that's telling me that maybe YM gives SMT. Let's see. I don't know. YM takes those lows. It might go a little lower then. But we are not offering a really definite closure that I would consider bearish just yet. See how we're closing like directly at these candle lows, right? It's no coincidence, man. It's playing mind games. It's pushing to the extreme. If this ends up bullish, for example, this is a great example of how the markets will literally push to the very, very extreme before giving you the right move. It's a scam. Like, why do you feel like you need to do all of this in order to go higher? You don't. We've seen you do it plenty of times. Just take off. We've seen it, right? When the market chooses it wants to fake you out, it will go to extreme measures to stop you out. So when you hear me say don't underestimate how shady these markets can be, that's what I'm talking about. Some people think they suck at trading. No, you just suck at realizing that you're being finessed. It's not telling you the truth right now. It's begging you to believe it so it can steal your money. It's crazy, bro. Like, who invented this, bro? I don't know how that's even possible. YM, are you ready to break out, mister? You're trying, but I don't see it. You're still underneath this bearish gap, which really is not even the gap. It's the upper half of this bearish candle. You see how you can dissect the bearish gap? There's the gap itself, but then you have the opening price and the wick high. That's truly the most important part of a candle. You can invert this gap. How many people bought this inversion? I can bet that thousands of traders who watch ICT bought this IFEG. If they're bullish, they're like, oh, this is a good IFEG, stop below the low. No, buddy. If you're going to trade inversions, at least wait for the entire fair value gap candle to be closed above. Right? That'll save you a lot of fake outs, something like that. But just reading this gap as if this gap means more than the candle itself is idiotic to me. That's trading though. You got retail, and there's a million different retail strategies, and surprisingly, if price sweeps liquidity and closes through a gap, people buy this. Crazy. and then wonder when they get stopped out and blame price action. But it's like, bro, you're not even reading the candle, bro. You're reading the gap. The gap is a part of the candle. How do you just focus in on this gap and say nothing else matters? Can't do that, right? All right, here we go. Back above the blue line on Nas. NASDAQ looks a little stronger, man. Which one would you say is stronger here? I would say NASDAQ is slowly stronger. I want to see price start closing through these bearish candles, though. Like, give me a 5-minute closure above. There we go. 30 seconds left. I think we're going to start seeing some pressure here. It's 12 o'clock. Yeah, so we should start seeing some speed, man. Which one has the best risk to reward? I gotta say, ES is slightly stronger. I'm looking for any sign of strength in these moves higher here. NASDAQ takes out this high right here. ES doesn't. Uh-oh. We start closing under here on the 5-minute. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. There goes your bearish move. YM confirms price is not caring about going higher. This low may be in trouble now. Let's see, but we'll get to see here in the next 30-minute candle, which will be my last 30-minute candle here. We have 12:30 and then we have that 1 o'clock. So by 1 o'clock, if I don't see anything I like, I won't be trading this. So now you're starting to get that contradiction where YM is the only one reaching lower. So now it's like, all right, does YM try to make a bounce back here and go back bullish? If so, that's just confirming the buys even more. And you're waiting here. Now we're underneath the blue line here. We're over the blue line on NASDAQ. So it's like, I can't pull the trigger yet. But the buys are just knocking at the door over and over. I think the buys are going to win if I had to pick based on the SMT we're seeing with YM. And it's not really racing lower. It's just sweeping lower. and now we get another bearish gap. If we can clear this bearish gap and give some sort of market structure shift, the market has not shifted bullish at all in the lower time frame, right? Since 11:30, price has been grinding lower. But I like how we're leaving this trend line, right? We haven't taken out any highs. We're only sweeping out lows. So we could get an eruption to the upside, and that'll be 100% algorithmic. You see it generating the liquidity. You see it stalling, essentially. And we have two accumulation phases. We accumulate it, manipulate it lower here, and then after the manipulation, we accumulate again, and we manipulate lower again. And I'm just looking for a market structure shift. And this high right here puts in a low. So that's why I'm watching this one specifically. If we can just literally take it out. Doesn't have to close through it, just wick through it. That'll be a change in order flow. And then of course that blue line is the line in the sand. This looks bearish though, bro. As of right now, it's only 12:25. But as of right now, it still looks weak. The last 5 minutes could erupt though. I've seen that. I've seen so many different scenarios of this algorithm that it's amazing. So I'm always thinking that 30-minute cycle, right? So this will be your first 30 minutes of a bullish cycle, right? And then this is your break of structure, right? That's why I call it bullish. We broke structure. Now the second 30 minutes, accumulate. And now here we are in that third 30 minutes. We've swept that accumulation of the previous 30-minute range, right? If you're looking at 11:30 and then you go to 12, we swept that low here. We're showing life. I'm just waiting for a market structure shift. All right. But you can see that if price wanted to offer that delivery, it's ready. It's just a matter of will it give it, or is it going to just leech lower and lower and lower? Because this entire range is bullish, right? That's where the algorithm has the control. It can trade all the way down here, sweep this low, and still be bullish. And that's what makes it a game of patience here. But we start breaking these lows here. Like ES is weaker, right? I think ES is, hinting a little bit more at the shorts here than NASDAQ for sure. Because we're still playing around this low, which I have marked out with this lock over here at 68,047. ES is still hanging around that level. It just fails to close through it confidently, right? A bunch of wicks, slight closure, but that's not enough. I want to see it get comfortable underneath here. And then here we are, the last 3 minutes of the candle showing more life. Bro, this shit ripped, kid. Just gotta wait on YM. You see how YM is saving us right now? If I wasn't watching YM, maybe I'd try a buy at some point, right? But it's understanding that YM is well behind the curve here. It's like, maybe we just keep going lower. Maybe it's not done yet. Got this fair value gap here. Super close now, which is the first fair value gap of this move higher, right? So maybe that's where you get that big impulse, a tap into here, and skyrocket. The same type of moves we're used to seeing, right? The tap and go move. Like this low right here. Who would have thought that this low was gonna send price way up here? You know what I mean? That's market nature for you. Oh no, this looks weak though. I'm not. The one thing that throws this setup off is, regardless of how weak we are, the next 30-minute candle is going to open in very bullish territory. So it's 1228. Look at where YM is. YM's going to open a new 30-minute candle in a bullish territory. So it's almost guaranteed to be bullish at first. Or not at first. I shouldn't say at first. It's almost guaranteed to be bullish in general because let's say that price wants lower, right? Your brain should be looking for this. If I'm like, all right, this is bearish. I want to see the next 30-minute candle drive into here and then I'll short it. I'm not just going to click the short button here, right? I want to see the power of 3. And then on the other side of things, if we're not bearish, the new 30-minute candle could open in bullish territory, drive a little bit into here, and then skyrocket. So either way, you're likely going to see a bounce from this zone, whether it's bearish to push up in here and sell, or whether it's bullish to sweep and then completely blast off. So that's why the buys are starting to become dominant here. We're not breaking structure over here. Yes, this is a closure, a beautiful closure underneath. Beautiful closure here. Why is NASDAQ so far behind? It's 12:30. 30 minutes left before we can really get an answer or hope for an answer. I have to be patient here. It's giving you way too many mixed signals. Yet we're still like in this area. If we're not bullish, I would love to see price just leave this area. Just go ahead and start jamming through, close down in here. You know, that way there's no more speculation for me. But the longer we hang out in this area, it's just like, bro, SMTs, NASDAQ, are you gonna start going bearish as well? Or what? You know what I mean? So yeah, if this ends up shorting, this is a trash short. It's not the type of short I would play. I would want to see a definite break of structure across the board. And that's not happening right now. If I do buy, I'm buying NASDAQ. Put it that way. NASDAQ is the last hope here. My 2-year-old's a monster, so just accept that like I have. All right, now we're seeing some pressure step up here. If we can start closing through, it's gonna be tough. Like it's gonna kill the vibe. I don't think I want to short this. I would much rather buy it. And the sad part is like, oh my goodness, look at this. Sad part is, okay, no, we tapped into it, made it low. I'm okay. Yeah, I don't think we're short. I just don't. If it dumps here, so be it. But I don't think I want to play these shorts. I like the buys. Right? Because the one area that I had for a short idea would have been this, right? If I were to drop a short, it would look just like this. It would be a 4-minute short instead of a 5-minute, because the 5-minute was playing hard to get. Right? But you see, up close candle, 30-minute candle closes, right? We drive into this red zone, give you some sort of rejection, and then we take this low. Once this low is taken, I don't want the shorts anymore. And for great reason, right? So if price shows me that this is going to be one of those reversals after taking that short, I will be more than happy to take this buy, because the only short protocol has been met. Once we tap into this at 12:30 and we end up making new lows, oh yeah, no, it's over. Good job. And that's why I like setups like this that give you a big range, right? Notice this target is still available. We're still inside of this bullish zone. So you can't disqualify the buys until we start closing underneath here. And I like these ranges because it gives the market enough room to manipulate. And then when if it finally takes off, like let's say this ends up holding, maybe it even gets way back down here, you get 90 points of real estate to target before you even need to go break even or before this trade idea is over with, right? So that's why the buys are much, much cleaner. I wouldn't even entertain a short right now. And then looking at the clock, it's 12:30. Today flew by. And the market is dry right now. Even if you are bearish, like you're gonna be in some chop here before anything happens. All right, nice. So I like this now for the short bias. We got this SMT off of here, and now you're starting to see price wants lower. 5-minute candle gonna close here, and you're getting that. And it's 12:30, so not much I can do, guys. I don't want to be on the charts all day, but I may stay on a little longer since it's a Monday. Maybe I could do that. See if this area right here becomes appropriate, right? Where you see you're waiting for a 30-minute cycle, right? You don't want to see price move too fast. So now that this candle closes at 12:30, I'm looking at all the candles that were closed through in the process. 12 to 12:30. YM is bleeding. Oh my goodness. Good job. At least you didn't fake anybody out. We're chilling. We're chilling. Maybe I'll draw up some type of trading idea off of these types of trades, but I don't like those trades because these are hard to hold. You don't know how long this is going to go lower. You're counter trading right here. Any one of these lows could skyrocket price. So, I don't think it's worth my mental capital to trade like that. So I'm strictly, looking for A+ reversals, and that's it. So here we are finally at a discount of this bullish leg. We're tapping into this fair value gap, tapping into this down close candle here. And now we'll get to see what price has up its sleeve. It still looks strange because we left these candles here without even trying to retest. And now we're reaching into bullish territory. If we're bearish, you'll get something like this. And if we're bullish, you'll get the same bounce, but it'll completely just go straight to target. There we go. YM, look at this. Look at how price traded down into here, guys. Did we not just see that? We've seen this all day today. Either the market is really dying, it doesn't want to pull back at all, or we are about to see a beautiful reversal here. I think we're gonna get a reversal. I really do. So if I go 10-minute here, all right, boom, down close candle, 5-minute down close candle. Yeah, here we go. So now at 11:10, 11:15. All right, and then over here, this was at the same time. All right, yeah. So yeah, it might be bearish. If you buy it, right? If I get a clean entry signal right now, I'll buy this in this area as long as we don't, get through this zone. I'll buy this with a proper reversal on the 1 minute, but I'm only gonna target this blue line or this red box as my TP. You don't want to get too comfortable buying here. Price is extremely weak. So if you're buying, you're literally just buying this pullback. TP would be, this is no longer my target. I love how aggressive this opens lower. This almost is guaranteed to go higher here. Let's get one of those plays. And notice that everything is in sync now. Everything is tapping into this area. And YM's the only one sweeping the low. So now these gaps in here are extremely important. They start to fail. You see what happens when they don't fail. They continue lower. But the moment they fail here, you get in quick. You get in on that very quickly. Which one's weaker here? They're both literally identical right now. NQ slightly stronger because we're closer to this blue line. Yeah, let's see here, man. Beautiful bearish gaps. If these gaps hold up, I don't know what's wrong with the markets, but somebody must have done some damage in the news or something. I don't see any major news today. Did crypto end up going higher or lower? Let's see. Bitcoin ended up selling off as well. Let's see if it offered any continuation. So 10 o'clock, 10:30. Let's see. These wicks are tiny as well on the 30-minute. You don't see much of a pullback. Let's see here. No 30-minute sweeps at all. Boom, 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 boom. If I'm looking at here, beautiful short area right here. All right. We had this area right here that could have been retested, never got retested. But you did have this area right here, but I wouldn't have shorted this one. I would have been looking more for a buy off of this right here, potentially. You see this fails. And once that fails, it's like free game for the shorts. And there goes your bullish pressure. So I would say this is where you would want to short. The last attempt to go higher, that's your short. But you buy it back up into that. There's nothing stopping price besides some fair value gaps. So you could even target these fair value gaps. Liquidity. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see. Let's go back to the main event. It's showing life. Yeah, we're about to rip. It's about to rip, my friend. I need to see a pullback in here though. I can't trade it if it don't pull back, guys. So let's hope for a pullback. I'm long. Anything in here, 20, I can get a 30-point stop and I can target about 40 points here. It's gonna run, bro. Did YM tap? Any one of these taps, I need a gap fill, guys. I need a gap fill because there's too much bearish structure up above, right? One of these gaps is gonna send price lower, so there's no point of even chasing it. And if it hits TP, then I'm done. But there's way too many bearish gaps in this leg for me to just buy this. It's gonna send it right back lower. Watch. One of these gaps will send price right back into this gap, and then this is where you'll find your entry. And this will be 24,701. Ideal entry price for me. I need to be watching YM as well. It'll be a 35 point for a 45 point trade. 35 points is 8 micros. That's if I trade that. YM might be the only one that pulls back. It may not pull back either, bro. Oh my goodness. You see how the game is? It's tough, bro. Oh my goodness. I need this to pull back. Otherwise, it's gonna kill my vibe because it gives you all of this bearish pressure to make you hesitant to buy, right? And then when it's ready to go, it just takes off, knowing that you're probably not comfortable just buying the first inversion. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way you should be comfortable just buying that after seeing all of this bearish pressure. So I need the bearish pressure to kick in at least a little bit here before trying to like skyrocket and go to the moon. Come on, kid, you can do it, bro. I've seen you do this way too many times. So just pull back. All right, man. Maybe this pullback will give us the stronger one. There we go. Whichever one doesn't pull back the furthest. I need this gap though. Come on. I need this gap right here. There's no other gap on the table. You got at least a volume imbalance sitting right here. But I need that. YM, there we go. At least YM's in a gap, so we're chilling. YM got this gap right here and right here. So if worst case scenario, I'll buy YM. Oh, I need to sign in. 1 second. Oh. Let me sign into my account real quick. I'm in. And let's see if this plays out. Let's see if this plays out. I love the reaction out of this gap right here. Like I said, 35.6 micros, 7 micros. There goes. That's a nice reaction, guys. I'm gonna long this up here. Oh, bro, that is such a bad feel. Let's see if I can get a good feel here. I gotta buy this though. I'll go like 40 points. All right, there we go. I gotta buy that, guys. And we have this fair value gap right here that I'm watching. Stops down in here. And I'm just looking for literally this high right here. This is what you call a quick scalp. And YM gave you that same bounce. Yeah. But we really, I hate this rejection right here. It is leeching, isn't it? So I may have to take 2 stabs at this. Just depends on how we respond here. I like the bounce, but then I don't like the follow through right back into this area, right? I need to see price. Where's my EMA here? Is the EMA a problem? We broke the EMA, no problem. We tap into this gap a couple times. What time is it? 12:47. Oh, that's leeching, bro. I need this to catapult. It's fine to see this bearish pressure. Like I said, we know that the market is weak, but I need to see price maintain this specific candle right here. This 12:41 candle. YM, are you maintaining? YM looks decent. Got this candle here. Don't tell me YM's gonna be the best trade. Tough. This is tough. Last 12 minutes of the candle. We haven't tapped anything other than these bearish gaps here. 5-minute chart. Let's go, kid. You can do it, kid. I don't know. I might have to cut this, bro. I'm not liking this. It's taking too long, kid. We've been bearish all day. So the moment you show me some life in this area, I'm expecting speed. Yeah. I'm expecting speed, guys, and I don't see it. This may be my chance to get out here before it goes against me. I need speed, man. Speed, and it's just slamming off this EMA. Break the EMA, bro. If this EMA can't be broken, that might be my exit cue, guys. I need a strong close here. No more wicks, please. No more wicks, please. Yeah, I don't know if I like this guy. I am not looking for any hesitation. Like, I'm looking for rocket ships out of here. We saw the reaction the first time around. YM, what are you doing? Nothing. Come on, kid. Where's the nuke candles? There we go. Let's start. I'm going to start taking risk off quick because this should be a fast move higher, man. All right, so VIP, I'm gonna TP out there on VIP, and I'm just gonna let this run on one of my accounts here. On my other accounts, I'm gonna secure that. It's a decent gain there. This blue line could be an issue, so that goes down as about 35 points. Oh wait, never mind. I never sent the VIP signal, but I'm locked in here. I've closed out my position on other accounts, and I'll let this one run for the stream. I'm at break even, and I'm looking for these highs here. Could be a bad trade. So actually, let me take off partial. I'll take partial here. Oh, not buy, bro. Oh my goodness, kid. Sell 3. Oh my goodness. I just ruined my field price. Now I can't even I can't even partial. I was supposed to sell 3. When I bought 3, my entry price jumped. So I guess I'll just have to hold this. Who cares? But yeah, I'm out of my position. I'm expecting this to get ran through, but the catch is if I want to draw up a short, it would happen here, right? We had this bearish area. Remember we talked about even if price was bearish, it's still going to probably bounce from here and get up into this area before anything else happens. All right, cool. With that being said, if I'm looking for a short, this was at 1220. So if I go to the last level here, it'll be this low. If price falls underneath this red dotted line, I might cut this, bro, because this could easily go bearish. I might take, yeah, bro, I'm gonna cut that, guys. There's no point in being greedy. I already know it's late. Yeah, I'm gonna take it for what it is. Today was trash, but we still made some chips, so I'll take that. And as I mentioned, I know that price could go bearish from here, and I remember how bearish YM was, right? So I can't overlook that. All right, making sure I'm out of my accounts. Exit that market. Perfect. All right, yeah. So let me sign out there. Good read. I don't know if price is gonna hold this order block. You see this same level right here on YM. We're tapping into it. You could see an easy sell off from here, where price literally just slams lower. And same thing across the board over here. I just wanted this scalp right here for about 40 points or so. Perfect. 30, yep. Perfect, right? Good patience today. Not the best when it comes to reversals. Clearly, price was one directional for 90% of the day. But I got to play it safe here based on what time it is and based on how long this move has been unfolding. I don't want to give up easy gains, right? We sat through a little bit of drawdown here, but this candle held up perfectly. Target met. Don't be greedy. Back at it tomorrow. All right, cool. Yeah. I'm about to drop this in the chat room. You guys take care. It will be interesting to see where price ends up because we're still holding up these bullish gaps as of now. So maybe price ends up trending higher from these levels. I don't know, but if this was earlier, like if this was like 11 o'clock, I probably would go break even and just see what happens. But at 1 o'clock, I think I'm done here. Back at it tomorrow. Like I said, new stream time is gonna be 9:40. Instead of being on right at the market open, I'll be on around 9:40, 9:45. We'll take it from there. Take care. God bless. Later. I like YM, man. YM is nice. 1.2, maybe 1.3 back to this red area. Not bad. Not bad. Drop a like if you did well in the markets. That's what I wanted to say. And I'm out.